working with the DOJ $26 million settlement, which is like the people from Washington D.C. to keep the police in line, like because they're beating innocent people. Anyway, it's a long story, and I'm a witness for something. But anyway, I called you because I got your number through the cop station, which he said talk to the prosecutor, but it's already went
Yeah.
through. But for the fact that when the incident happened, um, it happened, and I gave my police report, which is written down. It probably went through. If you found the case or dug it up, you'd find it. But for the fact that my disability rights were violated all in so many ways, which I don't know how your district's working, but I'm starting to learn law because that's what I'm going to school for in college and stuff. This is Benjamin H. Pickering. I've went through. You guys probably see me through there a couple times, but for the facts that the facts are like the attackers that attacked me, and they went and got this. I went there to give them some more information. They said we already did our investigation, and if you want to talk to somebody, you can talk to these people. Basically, they just wanted to push me out of the court or where the cop station was, and I'm like, okay, but like for the fact that I found a couple of the suspects that were at that party, and the accident in my head getting staples to my head, and I almost severely lost my life that night. But I talked to one of the people that were there. I would trace back to a few of the people because I wanted to do my own investigation. So I went to one of the places where they work, and that was the first place I started at, which was the go-kart tracks down in Long Beach, Washington. I went there and I was like, "Hey, trying to get to the bottom line." The guy said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm glad you're still here with us." He's all, "Yeah, they went back. They went out that night. You left the house to finish you off and get rid of your body." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's not enough evidence for the cops to want to pick up those charges and just let it go." If it,
Well,
but also,
sir, can I stop you for a minute so you get the procedure? They may have, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm getting this on the fly. They may have sent, they being the Long Beach Police Department, may have sent something to us. We charge felonies. We don't charge misdemeanors or gross misdemeanors. Anything that's a serious crime, our office, my office, has authority over the entire county.
nice.
If we don't think it's a felony or we can't prove a felony, we would send it, and I don't know if this happened in this case, we would send it back to the city prosecutor. It's not my office. Back to the city prosecutor in Long Beach and say, we don't think it's a felony. We're not going to charge it unless there's more information. You can do whatever you want, including charging it as a misdemeanor, a gross misdemeanor, in Long Beach Municipal Court. So that's one thing that may have happened. But I don't know whether we got it or not. But in any event, what we're looking at is not, in general, independent. You got a piece of paper here or there, but it's, what do the police have? And if there's more information that they didn't have, we would take a look at it. But we're really only taking a look at that once they repackage the supplemental report and look at whatever else they have.
Yeah.
So all of this, if this happens in the city of Long Beach, it runs through the city of Long Beach Police Department.
So, do you think it would be the best option for me to go to the city of Long Beach, get a police report, and write another report to them so it gets back to you and the?
I don't know. I know these people. I know that they're, at least in my working with them, they're decent cops.
Yeah.
I haven't never had any issues with them.
That's the way you get your paper, is when the cops bring it to you, or because you're the prosecutor. But so if it's already been thrown out of court, that's the best way it would be heard if I went there, wrote it down.
Well, if you say thrown out of court, I don't think anything's been thrown out of court. I'm not aware, if I understand the facts, that anything's even been charged to begin with. I don't know if anything has gotten to court.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, I could
Look,
probably.
Let me stop you for a minute. We are the gatekeeper. When I say we, the prosecutor's office, we determine whether anything gets charged or not. If we don't act, myself at the felony level or the city prosecutor at the municipal level, if we don't act, nothing ever gets to a court. The court really has no authority to bring a case itself. It has to wait for a prosecutor to bring a case.
Yeah, I got law books right here. I'm learning a lot.
No, but thank you for that distinction, because we
smart.
weren't aware what the structure was in Long Beach. I just assumed it's anarchy with a ton of drug dealers running around threatening to kill me and my friend, which that's what my experience has been. And I wanted to be helpful. If you want to know who they are, you might even be prosecuting one of those.
So, yeah,
fine, but the way, I'm just saying here, the way this works is it just is a division of labor, and we rely, it's not just the police report, but it's the statements that they gather. They basically gather all the information They send it to me. I'm the gatekeeper, and I or my people figure out what we do with the case. If we think we can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt,
Awesome.
we charge it. If we don't think we can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt, we don't charge it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of cases we charge, a lot of cases we don't. It depends on what they give to us. But this is basically a police function of gathering information, and then we make the determination as to what we'd do with that information. And
Awesome.
sometimes, we may ask, and I don't know what happened here, we may send it back to say, we don't think we have enough, so we're not going to charge, give us more, or you can prosecute it as a lesser offense in municipal court.
Yeah. So thank you. That helps me a lot. Tremendous. But I wanted to say too. So by calling you, because we referred you to you, but because something Christ. What's his name?
Corey Johnson?
No, the guy from Washington D.C.
Jonas.
Jonas from Washington
Geisler.
From Washington D.C. I got his card and then his social worker because he wanted me to wait in court.
Stop for a minute. Stop for a minute. Anybody in Washington D.C., whatever you talk to, has nothing to do with our process.
Yeah, nice. Okay, he's the one that keeps you guys in.
Sir, let me finish. All right, so you can understand how this works. I'm trying to be helpful.
Okay.
People in Washington, D.C. are related to the federal government. So
Thank you.
I'm a county prosecutor, but I prosecute on behalf of the state of Washington. So we enforce state law. Anything that's coming from Washington, D.C. is likely federal law. There is a federal prosecutor in the Western District of Washington, basically west of the Cascade Mountains, that prosecutes federal crime. We probably have 1 or 2 cases a year. That's all we have in this county in Pacific, where the federal prosecutor will come in and prosecute a crime. It's a wholly different level. That's nothing to do with us.
Okay.
So anything as far as any kind of Washington, D.C. connection is not relevant to how I do my job.
Yeah,
I'm not prosecuting any federal law.
Yeah, this wasn't relevant. I was just going to explain something that had to do with what's relevant in my life, what I'm dealing with you guys, you get the statements from the cops and stuff like that, but they had us come to you. So I was thinking the best way would be just drive up to Owaco tomorrow morning, write a police statement, and date it from when I first reported it, because I went in there and tried to report it the first time. He said, well, you can call somebody if you want to talk about it. But for the fact that there was 3 witnesses saying that I was, they wanted to do me in and finish me off that night. They just couldn't find me. It's basically
Let me stop you there, sir. So let me stop you there. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah, I do.
Who threaten you? Okay. And has that been already turned over to the Long Beach Police?
We have.
They said to talk to you about it.
Well, we have electronic evidence, and that's the thing where the cutting edge of technology is that we have people admitting criminal activity on a person-to-person chat on Facebook. So if we can be of assistance to either you or the police, I don't care in what order, you guys know the procedure.
Let me just tell you, in general, the difficulty I have, I'm going to have to prove, and I know nothing about this case. You just get me on the fly. But I'm going to have to prove, if you got some Facebook evidence, that the person who put that information in the Facebook is, in fact, the person you say they are. Mm-hmm. Anybody could write something on Facebook, theoretically.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, and this is a police investigation thing. It's nothing I deal with. But just because something's on Facebook doesn't mean that if John Smith says X, Y, and Z, it was really John Smith saying X, Y, and Z, someone might presume to be John Smith and say something. So those kinds of things I look with a jaundiced eye, in the sense I'm not saying it might not be helpful, but just because it's said doesn't mean you have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I'm not saying anything at all about your case. I don't know any details at all. I'm just saying in general, what you guys think may be good evidence, I may have a different view because I've got to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, and I've been doing this a long time, and people will come to court, defendants, and say, well, I never wrote that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you say that? Because it brought it to my attention when you were saying that. So it's really easy, if someone's trying to forge a check or forge a signature, or if he's doing on Facebook all the time and he types what he normally types to his friends all the time, and she's got witness or snapshots with her camera perfectly detailed that he's sitting there writing all this stuff and film.
And if there's other evidence of that, then that's just one hurdle. All of those stuff that the police have to investigate. You have 2 things here.
Okay.
Long Beach is small. They don't. None of that. There's nothing in the county at all where we have a detective.
Okay.
People
Good to know.
in the police offices, they work shifts, okay? So there's not a lot of time to investigate crimes. They're bouncing around from case to case. That's the first thing. Second thing is I'm not in their chain of command, okay? So I receive what they give me. I have no authority to regulate who or how they do their job. They are totally separate from me, so I'm basically beholden to them, and what they give me I look at. I can't tell them what to do. And because you don't have a lot of extra resource, to try to get your online cop who is just, doing his shift every day to have a lot of time to do research on a case usually doesn't happen. I'm not ready to speak for them. I'm just trying to tell you in general that our ability, especially with any kind of cyber crime, to investigate that tends to be very limited. I'm not saying it can't be done, but that's a call for the Long Beach Police. It's not a call for me.
Okay.
So, if there's anything you need to give additionally that it ultimately gets to me, needs to go through the Long Beach Police Department.
Cool. And then also on this, in terms of like if we wanted to look up an inmate who happened to be our next door neighbor, and we found out he was like a meth dealer with gun silencers and all of this, we're not sure if he's in for his domestic violence or the drug dealing or both. But is there anything we could do to just know about our personal safety when we've been threatened with retaliation?
You can make public disclosure requests.
Okay.
And you can ask for criminal histories on people.
Yeah.
We only give conviction data. We won't say when people are arrested. They're convicted of something. You can ask for that, so we turn that over. If somebody's in our jail, we will tell you they're in our jail, and that's it. If they're in the state system, we wouldn't necessarily know that. You would probably have to contact the State Department of Corrections, and I'm assuming if you made a public disclosure request to them, they would be able to tell you whether somebody was incarcerated or not, and that's all.
Yeah, and so in terms of like a death threat, to whom is there like a death threat registry when various criminals or people associated with criminals
Not that I'm aware of. If you have a death threat or any kind of a crime, that goes to the local police.
Okay.
One more question, and then we'll get off here. We'll tie some things up. But she might have something to say. But yeah, I just was concerned. Like it's kind of like about like I was just concerned, and I'm just talking to certain people and just like shooting the breeze to see what's out there and like what could be done about it. Because the guy that attacked me, I don't want to have on my conscience that he might lash out and attack someone else and he might end up dead. And if it doesn't get prosecuted, what if he's out there and it doesn't get prosecuted and he actually does it? Is that on the police? Is that only going to be on the police, or is it going to be on somebody that didn't prosecute him? Or
what does it mean to be on something? No, look, basically I have immunity. I can choose to prosecute or not prosecute. You can't sue me because I didn't do something. And the reason
I'm not saying that.
No, but I'm just trying to say the reason for that in general is no one would want to be a prosecutor if every time you made a decision somebody didn't like it, they could sue you. Now, if the police have some particular knowledge and didn't take some action, it's possible there could be a tort claim filed against them. But in general, those are probably, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head, those are probably difficult to pursue. And it wouldn't be you, it'd be whoever the family was of the next guy who died. And sometimes this happens to deal with supervision of felons, and it's more Department of Corrections. They didn't properly supervise somebody, and the felon who's under supervision goes out and kills somebody. Usually the family of the dead guy will sue the Department of Corrections saying they should have supervised them better. We don't, in Pacific County, our county doesn't do any supervision, and one of the reasons we don't is because we don't want to take on that liability in case something happens and somebody potentially could sue us. But we're doing the best that we can, but you can't be perfect.
Yeah.
And no matter what I do, there's more crime than there is my ability to prosecute that crime.
We're
not trying to get at that, as we do the best we can with the resources that we have.
Yeah, right. And is it possible to, like, if, like you said, I missed the point because you said the cops, it's possible to file a tort claim if he actually struck out and killed somebody else, if it actually happened. But
look, when I say possible, there are lots of details. In some situations, the cops have a duty to do something.
Yeah.
In others, they don't. In general, if they send a report to us and we choose not to file, then they're going to be insulated from any suit. If they choose to not investigate certain crimes and something bad happens, maybe there is a claim against them. Listen, this is not an area of law that I deal with. I'm giving you kind of just general advice on the top of my head. I could be wrong on some of this. All of these things will depend on the specifics of what happened. In general, though, you're going to have a hard time getting at police officers for not doing something because they are in the same position that we are. There's never enough resource to do everything.
Yeah. I was just going to say, though, finish what I was going to keep it short, is if the person's family was, like you said, I couldn't do it, but the person's family was the one the file charges and pick up those charges because they actually did that to someone in their family. But like if the guy didn't get prosecuted the first time and I was still left out there because I reported it and it happened to me and he almost took my life but nothing really happened. I mean, and he actually did it and lashed out, and that was enough evidence that he did that to somebody else, and that's the kind of criminal act that he does. I mean, like, so would I be able to pick up my charge back up and be like, hey, he did that criminal act, actually killed somebody and lashed out, and like my criminal act was just left alone, like
each one
proven.
stands alone. The only thing that prevents the prosecution legally is the statute of limitations. Depending on the kind of crime, usually it's 3 years. We have to file something within 3 years or it's done.
Oh, great. And this is a sort of separate question, but there was some talk of a missing person with a missing Lexus by some of the criminals who lived in our old building. Do you have a case that fits into, or?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But that's not to say something didn't happen. But look, you just got a missing person. I'm not going to get that. I might get that as a coroner. I'm also a coroner. But I'm not going to get that if we think somebody died. I'm not going to get that as a case. Somebody's missing. That doesn't mean that there's a crime being committed.
Well,
People can die for all kinds of reasons.
Well, there was a lot of like drug activity in this building, and then one of your people is in custody now, and we were getting threats of violence upon our person. So we just weren't sure how and what to report to whom, and the cops.
Well, whatever you have, you report to whatever the jurisdiction is. If you're outside the city of Long Beach, it's the Pacific County Sheriff's Office. If you're inside the city of Long Beach or inside the city of Oahu, it's Long Beach Police. Long Beach Police handles Oahu.
Okay, I get that. That's good distinction. This has been so educational. Thank you so much for spending the extra time with us.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Anything else?
No, that's great. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.